Beyond the emerald woods lay the silver rushing river. It was a wide, sparkling ribbon of water that hummed a deep, powerful song. On the other side, the hills were painted gold with the season's first honey blossoms. Ilara looked at her daughter Bramble and smiled. "Today is the day, little one," she said. "The day we cross to the golden meadow." Bramble looked down at the water. It didn't look like the gentle puddles she splashed in after the rain. It moved fast, swirling around round gray stones that marched across the river like a path of giants' buttons. To Bramble, those stones looked very small, very wet, and very far apart. She felt a little flutter in her tummy, like a trapped butterfly. "Can you carry me, Mama?" Bramble whispered, reaching up a fuzzy paw. "Your legs are long, and you are so strong." "I'm too small for such big water." Ilara knelt down so they were eye to eye. She nuzzled Bramble's ear softly. "I could carry you," Ilara said, "but then your own paws would never learn the rhythm of the river. You have the strength, Bramble. I will be right beside you." Bramble took a deep breath. She reached out and placed one paw on the very first stone. It was cold and slick. The river roared past, spraying her toes with icy droplets. She quickly pulled her paw back and tucked it into her chest. "It's too loud, Mama. The water wants to pull me away." Bramble stood frozen on the first stone. The middle of the river looked like a wild, white-capped monster. The gaps between the stones seemed to grow wider with every second. Her legs began to shake, and she didn't want to move forward, but she couldn't go back. The shore felt like it was miles away. Ilara didn't tell Bramble to hurry. She didn't stay on the dry bank either. With a heavy splash, Ilara waded into the cold, deep water. She didn't climb onto the stones. She stood in the river itself, her heavy fur swaying in the current. She moved until she was standing right next to the largest, scariest gap in the path. "I am right here, Bramble," Ilara called out over the sound of the water. "Being brave doesn't mean you aren't scared. It means you take the next step even when your knees are shaking. I am the wall that holds back the current. If you wobble, I am the branch you can grab." Bramble looked at her mother standing in the wild water. She saw how the river pushed against Ilara, and how Ilara didn't move an inch. Bramble closed her eyes for a second, feeling the sun on her back and the wind in her fur. She opened them, focused on the next stone, and gave a mighty hop. As she landed, Bramble's back paw slipped on a patch of wet moss. She chirped in surprise, her balance tilting toward the rushing foam. But before she could fall, she felt the steady, warm weight of Ilara's shoulder pressing against her side, propping her up. Ilara didn't lift her, but she was the solid ground Bramble needed to find her footing again. One last jump, and Bramble's paws hit the soft, dry grass of the golden meadow. She turned around and watched Ilara climb out of the water, shaking herself dry in a great cloud of mist. Bramble felt like she had grown 3 inches taller. "I did it, Mama. I was scared, but I did it." Ilara hugged her close, the sun warming them both. "You found your own way across," Ilara whispered, "and now the meadow is yours."